Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the Couch series, where we talk about everything mental health and psychology. I'd like to think that this is a safe space for anyone who is curious or interested in learning more about those two topics. So today I have my good friend here, Sheila. I'll let her introduce herself shortly, but we're going to be speaking about something that I think has become a very prominent thing in a lot of Kenyan youth especially, and that is anxiety. So Sheila, do you want to say hi to the people?
Hi, my name is Sheila and and I am a good friend of Sharon, and I'm very thankful and grateful to be here to speak about this topic with all of you.
All right, so I think we're just going to dive right into it. And I think I want to know, when did you realize that you had anxiety?
I'll just give like a small story. At first, I didn't know it was anxiety. At first, I just thought like I had like I was just panicking, which is what I used to feel. Like I used to always be like in a sense of panic, and I wouldn't necessarily be in danger, but like my mind and my body felt like they were in danger. So I would be doing the randomest things. I could literally be taking a walk, and all of a sudden, like some sort of like fear overcomes me, and I instantly feel like I want to like close myself, and like I don't know if close is like the right word, but like I used to feel like I want to seclude myself and just go into like a tiny little space where I'm alone and where I can just breathe and like away from like external factors. I think I became more aware of it, and like where I became more present and like scared was I think a week before the lockdown, which was I think in March, and I remember I'd gone for this brunch thingy, and while I was there, like I just started feeling like some uncomfortable feeling in my stomach, and feeling like I'm not safe, just the same symptoms that I would probably get. But at the time I didn't think, it was just that panic, the fear of like just panic that like overcomes your body. So my heart was beating so fast, I suddenly felt like I couldn't breathe, and you just feel like you're like everyone around you is like, I wouldn't say quote unquote judging you, but you just feel like you're not safe. So I remember that day I went home. I left the club really early. Left like at around I think 7:30. That time there was no curfew. So leaving at 7:30 is like crazy.
Early.
And I didn't tell anyone I was leaving. This is a habit I had from like Kitambo. I would go out with my friends, and then I don't tell them I'm leaving. I would just leave. And then in the morning they're like, oh my god, why would you not tell us you're leaving? You know, that's so bad. And I'm like, I was scared. I didn't know how to explain it at that time.
You were uncomfortable.
I was just uncomfortable. And at that time I didn't know how to like explain it and tell them like, yo, I'm uncomfortable. I used to think like, oh yeah, I have social anxiety, but I would still go like out to these places, Then I think at that time is when like this fear like just came. I would say it overcame me because it's somehow won. So fast forward to lockdown, and I remember it was the week, that Sunday itself. I remember I got home, and then like our CEO texted us and it was like, don't come into the office because of the uncertainty and everything. So I was just home. Let's say maybe like on a Wednesday in between the week. I was taking a walk with my friends in the estate, and then we got to a place like just our estate is round, so we get to like maybe let's say somewhere that's near to my gate. And I just stopped on the road and I just told them, you guys, I can't breathe. So they're just looking at me like this one's for like, what's going on? So I'm just like, hey, let's just go to like outside my house and sit on the pavement for a bit, and then like I'll enter the house when I feel better. So at this point I'm like dizzy, and like everything was just like black. So I walk to the house, I just sit down. So we go through like this breathing exercises. So I tell them to like just count for me as I'm breathing slowly. So with time I calm down, and then I'm just like, you guys get me inside the house, like just take me into the house because I'm scared. I don't feel like I'm gonna make it to my room. So yeah, they do that, and I feel like immediately they left, like the panic hit me again. So I was just trying to like understand why all these feelings were like this, like why was I panicking so much, like what was the problem, because this panic is coming from somewhere. And I think since that day, I started having like panic attacks so frequently, like so frequently. I would even have 2 in a day. And a panic attack is like the worst thing because it lasts for like, let's say even like 3 minutes, but those 3 minutes feel like you're dying. So it starts like with you, like your body like starts shaking, like you're fidgety, so you're trembling and stuff like that, and like you're feeling like me. How I explain it, yeah, compressed. I feel like an elephant is stepping on my chest because that's how, like, you can't breathe.
Are you, because I know for anxiety there are triggers, right? There are triggers that, you know, you could be going about your day and one thing happens and then you're having an attack or you're feeling these intense feelings of anxiety. So are you comfortable telling us what your triggers are?
Yeah, sometimes it changes, but like I'll give you constants. One was family, just dealing with like a lot of trauma, and I think it was manifesting itself at the time. So just trying to unpack that and deal with the emotions and unlearn all these things and learn new things. Heal. At this time, I wasn't even thinking of healing. I was just thinking of unpacking all these feelings that I was feeling, you know, and just trying to understand like why things are the way they are. So I'd say a lot of trauma. That's like family induced. I would say work, because at the time my anxiety was playing with me. I was just like getting into my role like comfortably, and I could also see like the people I'm working with, they were like embracing me more.
Oh, okay.
And like what I actually do, which is something that I really struggled with when I was joining the company, because I felt like my like I wasn't really being appreciated as I wanted it to be, like, you know.
Yeah.
So it really messed with my mind, and it got to a point where I used to feel like I was undervalued, and I just didn't believe in myself, you know. But I had to like move away from that thought and be like, okay, I don't need someone else's validation, you know, for them to like tell me you're good at what you're doing. I struggled with work because of like a lot of self-sabotage, just not believing in myself from a young age, being told that you're not good enough and stuff like that. I didn't know at that time like these things had really stuck with me, you know, and there were a lot of triggers. And then when I realized like I'm not being appreciated as I expected to be, it started like slowly like showing up into my life, and it affected my work so badly. And yeah, can I think of another trigger? Another trigger is coffee, which is a bad thing because coffee is
caffeine.
Caffeine in general.
Yeah, because it changes just from like, sorry to cut you off, from a psychological perspective, it changes the chemical balance in your head, in your brain, sorry, not in your head, in your brain, because caffeine is a drug just like any other. So already when you have anxiety, the disorder, your brain hormones are not at the levels that they should be at. So adding drugs on top of that makes things worse. So I think, which leads me to my next question. So what are your coping strategies for dealing with the anxiety? Because I know one mistake a lot of people make is that they use alcohol or drugs to deal with the anxiety, which only makes the anxiety worse. So what do you do to deal with your anxiety?
When I realized that the alcohol was one of the things that was really like influencing my anxiety, like I would go to a space and I'm drinking, and I know my body is not comfortable. Like my body itself is not comfortable being here. So when I'm drinking the alcohol, the anxiety is like induced. Like I just feel like it's overpowered in me. So I'm not enjoying the high of the alcohol itself, and my body automatically wants to puke. So my hangovers were crazy. And then like there's this thing called hangover anxiety, which I had to read about.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like sometimes when you drink, you wake up in the morning and you're having these thoughts like, why did I do what I did? Why did I have these conversations?
Okay.
You know, like,
so you beat yourself up about
a lot of the
alcohol.
events that happened at night. So I was just like, I don't want to feel this way. You know, like I don't like how I feel when I'm like, I wouldn't even say drunk, because I fight my body to not get drunk, because I want to be present, I want to be sober. Like I want my thoughts to be sober. So yeah, I think one of the ways, let me just tie into the ways I'm coping. One is me reducing on the alcohol I take. I know it's not like a tea. I can wake up one day and just be like, I'm not gonna drink anymore. But like, it's a fight that I think I'm
it's
really,
a journey.
It's really a journey. But it's one thing I really want to stop completely, because I feel like it's one of those things that are really gonna help me, especially even in like just having sober thoughts. And I just generally don't. I think I enjoy it as much as I probably think I used to. Another thing is just
breathing exercises.
Nothing too serious. I just count from 1 to 6, breathe in, release. Sometimes I write like a few affirmations down, so as I'm breathing in, I'm just saying like, I am calm, I am safe, you know, just small things that if
to tell my
brain like, I'm okay, I'm safe. Yeah, a lot of breathing exercises. Journaling, which I'm not very consistent.
She actually brought her journal so we can see it. So it's called 52 Lists for Calm, Journaling Inspiration for Soothing Anxiety and Creating a Peaceful Life.
Yeah.
So I'm just so glad that such things exist.
Exactly. And there are very many series of this. I wish we just had the access to it. So there's 52 lists for calm, there's for happiness, to create a better life, and then there are just 52 lists. So far I think journaling has been really helping me. Like it really helps me.
Okay, I can see a
coloring book
here as well. So adult coloring is also
a really big thing. Helping. By the way, it really helps. And I don't color as often as I would like to, but when I feel like I'm probably like really overwhelmed, that's when I normally color the most. It's like maybe painting or like also I'd say talking to my friends, but sometimes I don't want to feel like I'm burdening them with my feelings, because they might not be able to understand the feelings I'm going through, because I myself don't even like fully understand them, you know. But I'm just trying to have that sort of outlet.
Okay.
Where, and praying.
Right.
Yeah, praying has really helped me.
Love that
like,
one. Yeah.
Okay,
so I guess finding an outlet is a great way to deal with it. Whatever works for you, because I think it's so specific to each individual. So for her, what works is the journaling and the coloring and the praying. So for you, it could be working out, going on a walk, jogging, talking to a friend, literally anything, but as long as it's positive. And as long as it, because at the end of the day, these things that we do to cope are meant to, from a psychological perspective, meant to help your hormones go back to the levels that they should ideally be at. So when you work out, you get certain hormones. When you jog, you get certain hormones. When you color, same thing. So yeah, find an outlet. Take us through what living with anxiety feels like, other than the panic attacks, which you've explained so well for someone who's ever had them. But what else should someone look out for, someone who doesn't know that they're dealing with anxiety? What does it ideally look like having anxiety?
Like the symptoms?
Yeah.
The symptoms?
There are very many forms of anxiety under the general blanket of anxiety. So what you have is the panic disorders.
And it had to be like diagnosed, because I didn't know. Like I had to go to hospital and then explain for me, and then now. So after the doctor told me like, okay, this is what you have. Because even the first time, like when I went to hospital just to try and understand this, that was like one of the scariest days of my life. First of all, I did it alone. Anxiety has this thing where it makes you feel embarrassed. Like it brings some sort of like shame. Yeah. So I didn't want to talk to anyone about like what it is I was going through. I felt like they wouldn't understand, and then I felt like they would judge me. You know, someone would look at you and be like, oh my God, why do you have anxiety? Like your life looks like it's so good, you know. But I'm like, that is the problem. Like, so when I went to hospital that day, I remember when I was like, trying to explain to the doctor what my symptoms were, like he's the one who was even like bringing them out for me more, because I wasn't really understanding like, what exactly what the problem was. So I'll just take it through. One is the tightness on your chest, just feeling like you can't breathe. And I had to like learn that anxiety disorders and panic disorders are very different. Like that's how I was telling you, like panic makes you feel like a panic disorder makes you feel like you're about to die the next minute. like straight up. You feel like you're about to die the next minute. You don't see like an end point. It's like I'm having this panic, and after this I'm gonna die. You know, like, that's how I used to feel most of the time.
The end.
It's literally the end. Racing thoughts. Sometimes I have hot flashes. Depending. Sometimes I have hot flashes. Sometimes I have like this, I wouldn't call it like a runny stomach.
But in your gut,
yeah, in
like
my gut,
there's
like a feeling, you know, and then you feel like you want to go to the loo, but there's really nothing. It's just like your anxiety playing with you. Shaking, I used to shake a lot. That's how I actually know it's kicking in most of the times. I start fidgeting, and my hands literally start like trembling.
But I'm sure that must be horrible, and I'm sorry that you've had to go through that.
It's all good.
But yeah, I think for you the panic attacks are the most prevalent because yours is a panic disorder under anxiety. I think the last question I have for you is, what would you tell someone who is going through anxiety and this feels new to them, this feels overwhelming to them, because you've been there, and I think it's best speaking, you're still there, but like take yourself back to the beginning in March. And I think it's so good that you said that you feel like when Corona started is when all these feelings were heightened, because that's been the case for a lot of people. So what would you say to someone who is where you were when COVID started and where you are now? If you could go back in time and tell Sheila from last year, March, who was feeling overwhelmed and this thing was new and you didn't know what to do, what would you tell her then?
Why not just tell her to like, it's easier said than done, but to be calm. Because when you're in that state of like fear and panic, I feel like you're not thinking straight. Your thoughts are everywhere, like, and sometimes you can't even focus on one single thought. So I think just bringing yourself to a state where you're calm, and even find the things that make you calm. Like take yourself to a space where you feel calm, whether it's your bedroom, whether it's being outside, like around
in
nature, you know, or on phone with a friend. Sometimes I even used to find myself like being in the state of like the panic and picking up the phone and just calling my friend, and I'm like, okay, please just distract me with whatever you can distract me with. And with time I find myself like relaxing, just breathing.
Okay.
I mean, I'll tell you to be very gentle with yourself, because it's an everyday thing. Everyone struggles with anxiety, whether you know it or not. Because anxiety, like,
in whatever form,
shows itself in
whatever
so many
level,
different ways, you know. Just tell you to be very gentle with yourself, because you're the one who's experiencing the anxiety, and for you to overcome it, you need to learn how to be patient with yourself. Just be gentle. Take time. It will take a while before you find, even just learning how to understand your triggers. You need to want to know what your triggers are. That's the only way you'll be able to learn how to
deal
overcome
with them.
You know? Just be, honestly, I think the best thing I would tell you, everyone out there, is just to be calm and just be gentle with yourself. Anxiety is something that everyone goes through, and don't feel like you're the only one who's been chosen, like, and they've said like you're the one who needs to have this anxiety and stuff like that. At times I used to believe that, because I used to look around and I'm like, wow, it must be so nice you're not dealing with anxiety, you know. But then again, you really don't know what's going on with people,
someone's mind,
you know? And just be gentle with one another. Be gentle with the people you're with, the people you meet on a daily. A lot of people are going through stuff that they don't talk about. You can't really tell what's going on in someone's mind. Just be considerate. Just be a nice human being.
But is there anything else you would generally want to say to anyone who is in your shoes?
So many people are a living testament of this, living with anxiety. And it's an everyday struggle, and I'm still here, struggling,
getting by. You're getting through it.
Getting by. Some
and
days
that's
are better
enough.
than others. By the way, the days I wake up and I feel so bad. Other days I wake up and I'm so happy. and the least I can do is just be grateful. You know, on the worst days, the most I can do is just look for the things that, like the little things that make me happy. Focus on the little things, by the way. That's where the little happiness is. Anxiety is crazy.
It's crazy.
But we're here living with it.
Yeah,
so
but
anyone can deal with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like all these things that happen in our lives, there's always a way to like deal with it. You know, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very hard, especially trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think my biggest takeaway from like everything you've said is just you have to be really present in yourself and understand yourself and where is this anxiety coming from, what are my triggers, what coping mechanisms work for me, what don't work for me, and just creating an environment that is safe for you inside and outside, so you can be able to live and be present and experience life as fully as possible. So thank you so much, Sheila. I've learned so much from you. Because I mean, it's one thing to read about anxiety, and then it's one thing to hear from someone who's been through it, and especially someone that is actually a friend. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was insightful. I hope you've learned just like I have. And if you're dealing with anxiety, I hope this was helpful. If you know someone, if you have a friend, a family member, I hope this is helpful to you as well. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Again, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, what else people do, share, and just leave something in the comments. Talk about it in the comments. This is a community that we can share openly, and it's a safe space, like I said in the beginning. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.